and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Somewhat overcast Sunday afternoon, but it is time for baseball as Hyundai presents the Sunday Game of the Week. Today, it's the New York Yankees against the Detroit Tigers in the final game of a 4-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Paul O'Neill and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees won 2-1 yesterday. They've taken 2 of the first 3 against the Tigers. Now, this game, they will not have Aaron Boone. He's been suspended. More on that a little bit later on. But they will have Gleyber Torres, and that's important.
Well, it has been a Gleyber Day weekend. This guy has been on fire. He has been, you could see it coming about a week ago, and all of a sudden, wow, 444 feet later, dead center field. Couple game winners. Gleyber Torres even hit them off the head. It doesn't matter. He'll hit it anywhere. And he has become what he was earlier in the season. He has turned it around offensively. The Yankees need a big finish from Torres.
Yeah, you're right. Once the hip injury happened, he kind of went down, but now he's gotten back up. Last 15 games, the .415 batting average, highest in Major League Baseball since August 17th. 4 home runs, 12 ribbies, and outrageous OPS. He's playing second base in today's game. Speaking of today, let's take a look at today's pitching matchup, brought to you by People's United Bank. The lefty Matthew Boyd will get the start for the Tigers, and Lance Lynn will bring his fastballs against the Tigers.
In fastball, indeed, a 2-seamer and 4-seamer, that's how he pitches. And you know the Yankees, they like their breaking balls, so it'll be interesting to see if the analytics department kind of changes his repertoire a little bit, but nonetheless, Lance Lynn, a veteran guy, and really done a pretty solid job for the Yankees, even though his first 2 were better than his last 3. Looking to kind of get back on track today.
Good number on his back, too, David, 36. I think you remember that. Well, we told you that Aaron Boone has been suspended for this game. Why? Well, you remember this little dust-up? Jack Curry has more when we return right here on Yes.
Who's usually sitting in this dugout and making all of their decisions won't be here. That's because manager Aaron Boone received a 1-game suspension for his actions toward umpire Nick Lentz on Friday. Josh Bard, the bench coach, will manage the team. Boone gave his thoughts on the suspension.
I accept it. Joe was here to kind of deliver that news to me a little bit yesterday in person. So I thought it was possibly coming. So you know, obviously I got a little too close for comfort there. So that's part of the deal. So you know, I just got to accept that, and I'll be here up until game time, just getting ready for the game and doing our pregame prep and all that, and then I'll probably maybe watch the game up in the suite or something.
In addition to Boone not managing the team, Giancarlo Stanton, who had started the last 85 straight games, is not in the starting lineup today. Boone is giving him a rest, and Adeiny Echevarria will make his debut at shortstop for the Yankees. We'll have all the action for you next. It's Michael Kay, David Cohn, and Paul O'Neill with the call. Stick with Yes for the first pitch.
Get a great deal more than a great deal on all new Hyundai vehicles. See your Hyundai dealer today. By People's United Bank. If your checking account isn't performing, put it on waivers. People's United Bank. Member FDIC. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on all models. All right, it's overcast. The Yankees have taken the field. Lance Lynn taking his warm-ups, and we're going to be taking a look at the Tigers starting lineup, which is brought to you by our good friends at Lexus. Jamer Candelario, the third baseman, will lead off. Batting second in center field, Jacoby Jones. Nicholas Castellanos, the DH, will hit third. Cleaning up first baseman, Nico Goodrum. Mikey Matuk is in left field. He's going to bat fifth. Batting sixth and catching, James McCann. Ronnie Rodriguez, the shortstop, will bat seventh. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Dawel Lugo. And Victor Reyes is in right field. He's going to bat ninth.
A great overhead shot there of Yankee Stadium. New York on Sunday, the best. Love Sunday day games. Lance Lynn out there on the bump. He's going to chuck it in there and grip it cross seam most of the time, two seam a couple times. And that is our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. The crosstown traffic fastball. The four-seamer kind of sails and goes one way, and the two-seamer goes the exact opposite way. And better than it looks. Well, his independent streak, you know, fielder independent pitching. I'll give you a little sabermetrics lesson here as we get on into the game. But FIP is really what a pitcher controls. Walks, you know, base runners, home runs, strikeouts, kind of the three true outcomes for a pitcher that he can control. Once the ball leaves the bat, it's kind of out of his control. And Lance Lynn's been better than you expect. And in August, a 2.01 FIP rating.
And let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is a strike, and we are underway. Home plate umpire Scott Barry. Carlos Torres at first. Nick Lentz at second. Paul Nart is the third base umpire. And the crew chief. 0-2.
Well, the shocker, a couple fastballs to start the game off, huh?
Can we get a little Paulie Doppler here? This doesn't look good overhead, Paul. What are you hearing?
Take a look at my trusty little app here, Michael. I'll let you know here. So.
All right. 1-2 on Candelario. Yankees have won 2 of the first 3, and they'd like to get off to the West Coast on a positive note with a victory in this one.
Michael, we're looking good.
Okay.
We're in good shape.
1-2.
Little cloud bank, that's all.
2-2.
That's why they got the lights on, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you one thing, as a hitter, you love this kind of day. You see the ball well, not a lot of glare, not a lot of sun.
Right back to Lynn. One away. Why don't we check out the Yankee defense presented by Geico? You've got Gardner in left, Hicks in center, and McCutchen over in right. In the infield, it's Andujar. Echevarria is the shortstop, Torres at second, Voigt's at first, Romine behind the plate, Lance Lynn is on the mound. And Josh Bard is the active manager today. He's their bench coach with Aaron Boone, and he will actually be conducting the post-game interview as Aaron is somewhere in this ballpark watching the game. He cannot be in the clubhouse or in the video room, certainly not in the dugout after being suspended for inadvertently making contact with Nick Lentz in the argument on Friday night.
No clubhouse. Can't hang out in the office.
Because then you could still manage. You can send word, I guess, to the dugout. So he stayed, did all the pregame stuff with the team, but once they took the field, he had to leave.
For old time's sake, he could have come up and just joined us.
I asked him. He
Didn't
said,
work.
"I don't think." He said, "I'm not allowed in the press box."
Oh, really?
And I said, well, "This really is in the press box of the broadcast." So he said, "You'd have to ask Mr. Torrey." Joe Torre actually came to the ballpark yesterday to tell Aaron personally that he was going to be suspended. His bill made contact with Nick Lentz's bill. So he was asked, would you do anything different the next time you argue? Would you stand further away? He goes, I think I'll just spin the cap around.
That's right.
The old Earl Weaver move.
It's a lost art.
2-2. Lined into left center field. That's going to be a base hit. In fact, it's going to split the outfielders and go to the wall. Jones has great speed. He's going to round second. He's going for third, and he will make it standing up.
Kind of hit against the shift there. Aaron Hicks kind of shading towards right center field, and this ball left center field, which gives him an opportunity to use that speed. Cruises into third base. Coney, look at that, right against the Dunkin' Donuts. You're already thinking about those, aren't you?
Yeah, you're right. We need to get those up here. But yeah, that's where the triples are in Yankee Stadium.
Yankees bring the infield in for Castellanos. Grounded foul.
We've been over at Castellanos, the most accomplished hitter in this Detroit lineup. This is the spots you don't want him. Obviously, early in the game, you really don't want to pitch around people and try to set up a big inning. But, you know, go back to that two-seam fastball, try to get a ground ball, keep it in the infield. Take your chances. Vinny, did I just look over there? I got the cameraman doing the floss, the dance. We worked on it all day, but I didn't know we were working on it during the game. Nice.
Have you gotten it down?
No, I stink at it. I'm going to work at it, though.
3 infielders on the left side. One and two.
Seen a lot of breaking balls in the past from Lynn, but a good one there. Starts on the outside corner and ends up, 6-8 inches off.
Good tight spin. not really a slider, more cutter-like, although you're right, it does have a little more break to it today. 90 miles an hour on that.
It's amazing to me, though, that you see that kind of a wave swing and a miss, but then as the hitter progresses in the count, you see it again. Didn't even offer at it.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Lynn. 2 away.
We saw it yesterday in Tanaka in big situations, kind of humped up, and right here, four-seam fastball, it hit 96. Good way of pitching, getting that strikeout is to keep that good hard fastball for the strikeout pitch.
Yeah, he's got an idea of what he wants to do. That's for sure.
96 miles an hour. The fast pitch speed analytics sponsored by Fios by Verizon. Goodrum takes outside.
Tell you what, Goodrum has really shown what he can do offensively. He's changed positions throughout this series. Has really shown a lot of talent out on the field in this short series. So kind of the way you can argue a pitch there, Coney, is a pitch you think you should have got. You kind of just take your time, and it's kind of telling the umpire, hey, you missed that.
Yeah, it's hard when you're on the mound
right.
to be able to do it because it's so demonstrable. I mean, you can be demonstrative on the mound, and then the umpire thinks you're showing him up. Mm-hmm. Whereas a catcher or a hitter can kind of put his head down and actually speak to the umpire. A lot of times in this situation, you kind of rely on your catcher, to work for you back there.
That one is looped over the head of Echevarria for a base hit, an RBI single for Goodrum. Jones scores. It's 1-0 Tigers, and Goodrum has been a pest in this 4-game set.
Yeah, good pitch, better swing. I mean, he stayed through it, got jammed. Lynn did what he wanted to. Actually, he did kind of pull this ball across, but Goodrum, you see, he's beat right there, but he stays through it on a level swing and is strong enough to line it to left field.
Make or break for either side. 2 outs, runner in scoring position for a pitcher or a hitter.
Kind of been the theme this whole homestand. The other team's getting on the board early with a 2-out hit.
This series, Goodrum is 7 for 13, 2 homers, 3 ribbies, and 3 runs scored. 1-1 on Matuk.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye on him too. Good speed, will steal a base.
One and two. And the pitch. Just underway here at the stadium. Lynn struggles in the first inning. We've given you these numbers before. 5.24 entering today in the first inning. And a lot of pitchers do. He's certainly not a rare one. Swing and a miss. Matuk down on strikes. And that'll do it. But the Tigers get a run on 2 hits. 1 man left. Tigers won, and the New York Yankees coming back. right. Aaron Hickson, center, bat second. Hitting third, third baseman Miguel Andujar. Gary Sanchez will shift to DH and clean up. Batting fifth, second baseman Gleyber Torres. Luke Voigt at first base will bat sixth. Batting seventh, the catcher Austin Romine. Adeiny Echevarria. Yeah, he's a player to be named later. We'll talk about that in a moment. The shortstop bats eighth. Batting ninth, the left fielder Brett Gardner. And there is Aaron Boone. I believe he's watching the game from one of the suites here at Yankee Stadium. That must be an odd feeling for him.
Yeah, in street clothes, watching it from a different angle, no doubt about it.
We see Matthew Boyd, the lefty, will be on the bump against the Yanks here in the Bronx. He's been durable. Start number 27 on the year, and up or down, that's been that kind of season for him. He's had 9 starts of no runs or 1 run given up, but also 5 starts of 5+ runs given up, and low run support, only 3.67 per 9 innings of support for him when he's on the mound. That's the 4th lowest in the AL, and he's a fly ball pitcher. Air Bud, 47% of all the balls off the bat are fly balls. That's a 3rd highest in the AL.
This is not a great ballpark to be that sort of pitcher.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Something's got to give if you start getting the ball in the air today. Justin Verlander's number 1 on that list as far as fly ball pitchers.
There's a pop-up. Lugo makes the play. Why don't we take a look at the Tigers defense presented by Geico. Matsuk's in left, Jones in center, Victor Reyes over and right. In the infield, Candelario, Rodriguez, Lugo, and Goodrum. That's third to first. McCann behind the plate, and Voigt is on the mound. You know, one thing you notice about this Tiger team, I wonder if you guys would agree. Yeah, they're having a bad year, 54-82. And you can see why they hired a guy like Ron Gardner. They play hard every single day. They're not loafing. They're not going through the motions. You could see that he's making them play the string out, but play it out hard.
This whole series, Michael, if you look at it, impressed by 2 teams that are having subpar years. The White Sox played hard, and Detroit came in and have done the same thing. Pitching's been much better than on paper. It really shut the Yankees down, especially early in the games.
Detroit had a long way to go. You know, we mentioned Mike Ilitch, the late great owner, and they really went for it every year, it seemed like. At one point they had David Price, Max Scherzer, and among others in their rotation. And
Verlander.
Oh, right, Verlander. Verlander. So you think about those big 3. They left their farm system kind of barren. So they really did have to start from scratch. Think about the history with Mike Ilitch. Back to Jim Leyland days, really. 2011, they beat the Yankees in the ALDS and lost to Texas in the ALCS. 2012, they're the AL champs, but they got swept by the Giants. Actually knocked the Yankees out of the playoffs in 2012.
What's amazing when you look at that, Coney, is, you know, other sports, you get a top draft pick, and it almost has an instant effect on your win-losses, you know, in the NFL or in the NBA, where, you know, you can get a top-notch prospect drafted at a high school, and I don't care how good he is, it's 3 or 4 years away before he really could have an impact on the major league team.
That's a good point. I mean, you almost deal with volume. The more prospects you can get, including international signings, the better chance you have to hit.
High fly ball, right field, Reyes back, turning, looking, see ya! Home run Hicks, 1-1 game.
Well, Coney, you said something's got to give. Well, I tell you what, this is a great swing, ball away. And this just wasn't a first row job. This ball hit off the Port Authority sign out there. Really good swing by Aaron Hicks. Is there a better way as a hitter to start a game? Home run, you're thinking, wow, this could be one of those great nights. See how he stays close, ball away, and just goes with it. A lot of power from that position.
High fastball, high home run.
Wow.
That one is ripped to left field. And that ball is off the base of the wall. And Duhar will get himself a double.
Coney, that's a couple balls that are hit really hard. One to right, one to left. I'll tell you what. This is on Hicks, the ball away. Boom, this one goes to right. Again, that actually went into the second deck, the opposite field. And Duhar, just another ho-hum double, extra base hit.
Mickey doubles, number 38 on the year.
There's Sanchez. And Paul, what are you doing? I mean, you're giving the Port Authority free advertising.
Is that right?
It's Parts Authority.
Oh. You know, they changed that sign on me. That was Port Authority yesterday. Sorry about that. Yeah, Port Authority Auto Parts. My bad.
It's like you thought the home run hit the S out of it.
Wow. A free bus trip for that, don't it?
I would think, right?
No soup for you.
Nothing.
And there's a base hit. And Duhar rounds third. They're waving him home. Here's the throw from Macho. It hits him on the head. And scoring is Andujar. An RBI single for Sanchez. It's 2-1 Yanks. A lot of doinks.
Wow. This is a season of the cabeza. They're balls flying everywhere. The cooked it off the head. Well, he figured, I'm going to get one back here. Doink. Oh, my goodness. You know what? A good throw probably has him. But you know what? If you're Phil Nevin, you can't expect it always to be perfect. Ball offline. Yankees score again. And, you know, Gary Sanchez got nothing for his swings yesterday, but he had some good swings. It's good to see him get a base hit and drive in a run.
You know, one thing, I think that hit him on the hand. For some reason, he knew the ball was coming in and put his hand up to protect his head. And the ball hit the hand, which was up against the helmet.
Yeah, a lot of times as you're running, you're trying to read the catcher where the throw is. And if you see the catcher is in direct line with you, chances are that ball is too. See, you're starting to see the catcher over in here.
Well, I think I'd rather take it off the helmet than my hand.
Looks like he's okay. Sanchez with his first hit off the DL.
I'm impressed, Paul. Spanish, you dropped a cabeza on him.
Yeah, I know about 10 words. That one just happened to fit.
He always uses that one around me, David.
Yeah. That's why I learned. I learned that one in every language in case I need it.
The 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1 to Torres. Really went after that one hard. 2-2.
Kind of looks like a little twinge in his back right here. Last thing Stevie Donahue wants is another person that he can work on in the training room, especially the way Torres has been swinging the bat.
And Torres down on strikes.
It's the old school adage, high and tight. High and tight usually works if it's located like that.
This will throw and it goes right back in your hands.
And stuck in the mud, right?
Kind of waiting for Voigt's first opposite field home run here in Yankee Stadium. He really looked the first game of this homestand against lefties like he was really trying to hit that ball to the right side. Obviously strong enough to do it what Aaron Hicks did earlier. And that approach, that ball right there will tie you up a little bit.
The Yankees' eyes light up when they know they're going to face a left-handed starter. They're 27-12 against lefty starters. That's the best in the majors by a lot. And as Paul mentioned the other day, that's how you used to counteract the Yankees. They were so lefty-laden because they would aim for the short porch and get all left-handed hitters, but that's not the case anymore. There's a base hit. Right center field. Sanchez will go to third. Voigt picks up a single. First and third, 2 men out.
You know, Coney, one of the most important things I can remember about hitting was if you have an approach going into the at-bat, you can't change it in the middle of the at-bat. His approach was to take the ball to right field. Everything was in where it was jammed, but he stayed with the approach. He gets jammed, but he stays on that right side and ends up with a hit. If you start going, okay, now they're pitching me and now I'm going to pull, then it's a flip of a coin on what you're going to try to do to a pitch.
The strong young man right there. And, you know, the other part of the new metrics or new analytics in hitting, we talk about exit velocity a lot and really about launch angle. He's strong enough to fight that off and get it to the outfield grass, get it over the infield. Pretty easy to see as we sit up here in the booth, Paul. You look, there's 4 guys on the infield, and there's only 3 guys out there in the outfield. So
with a lot of grass in between, huh?
Hey, find the grass out there somewhere. A lot of room out there.
It's amazing when you're hitting well. It looks like that. There's just tons of grass, and boy, if you're not hitting, it looks like there's 55 people out there ready to catch the ball. I would imagine that plate gets a little smaller too when you're struggling, huh, Cody?
We've seen it. That's sometimes the hardest time to throw a strike is when you're really trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to throw this right down the middle and I can't do it. Forever, pitching coaches have said, throw strike one, strike one. Well, Major League average has been constant for years, about 60%. Major League pitchers, the best in the world, 6 out of 10.
1-2. Off the foot of Romine. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 82 degrees, 62% humidity, wind 5 miles per hour, mostly cloudy, and Paulie Doppler said no rain.
That's right. Yeah, you're going out to the West Coast, Michael. It'll be nice and cool. It's going to steam up again here in the mid-90s in the middle of the week.
One, 2. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Romine down on strikes. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 4 hits. The first run came off the bat of Aaron Hicks. Hits the Parts Authority sign, not Port. 2-1 Yankees. David, I thought that, all 3 of us could get an inning off while Aaron worked the booth, but he didn't bite.
I think he's tired of the booth. He did that for what, 6, 7 years? 9 years.
Yeah. Probably having a little more fun now.
He's definitely getting some more gray hairs now.
Yeah, they don't keep score up here. That's Joe Girardi always told me that. James McCann will dig in, so the Yankees get Lance Lynn the lead. And a strike. I got a piece of Romine. He fouled the ball off his foot. Now I think he gets a foul ball off his foot.
I mentioned, Paulie, in the scouting report about Lance Lynn, his ERA in August, about 3.98 coming in. Just 21st in the AL, but he had a 2.01 FIP, Fielder Independent Pitching ranking, which is 3rd in August. Kind of the difference between ERA and FIP, as they say, or Fielder Independent Pitching. The idea behind FIP is, what does a pitcher really control himself? Once the ball leaves the bat, kind of out of his control. What the fielder does, make an error, not make an error. The luck factor, does it fall in? Line drive at him. Good front door cutter there from Lance Lynn at 91. McCann doesn't think so, but that was a really well executed pitch. This is what FIP tells you right here. That's a strikeout. Lance Lynn deserves credit for that. Fielder didn't have to make a play. Nice frame, too. Romine holds it, brings it back up a bit. Maybe the catcher's framing skills or the umpire's zone, but other than that, that's all on the pitcher. There's 3 things, really, by and large, that a pitcher controls all by himself. Whether you walk the hitter, whether you strike the hitter out, or whether you let him hit it over the fence, a home run. Pretty much all on you, right, the pitcher? I mean, you can drill him, too. We'll throw in to drill him. That's on you. So that's what FIP measures. It's set to a scale that's equal to ERA, so you can compare them side by side. What's your ERA? What's your FIP? And actually, fielder independent pitching is a better predictor of what's going to happen in the future, as the data shows.
Punched out to right field, the base hit for Rodriguez.
And what's Major League average?
They're both set. ERA and fielder independent pitching are set at a scale of 4.15 this year. That's about the average. So how much better or worse you are at that number. It's set to that scale so you can put them side by side. Here's your ERA, here's your FIP. If you start seeing big disparity one way or the other, then maybe there's a story there to be told.
Rodriguez lost one into center field, and Hicks will play it on a hop. Check that was Lugo as Rodriguez moves to second.
It's just another piece of the puzzle, Paulie. It's not everything. There are several nowadays to look at. Keep it simple right now.
Yeah. Lugo's had a nice little appearance, into the major leagues. He's had some good swings, some good at bats. Talked about him making his major league debut here in Yankee Stadium this series.
5 for 13.
Not so bad, huh?
One of the pieces they got back in the J.D. Martinez deal with Arizona. There's a strike to Victor Reyes.
Boy, that's a pitch right there. If you get all day as a sinker ball pitcher, you're going to be tough. Just at the bottom of the strike zone, if you get that called, a very hard pitch to elevate whatsoever for a hitter.
Inside third, and it'll kick off the sidewall. Rodriguez scores. Ball bobbled by Gardner. Lugo moves to third, and Reyes is at second. Tie game.
Well, Coney, some things you just can't defense. And, when you squirt a ball right down the line opposite way, not much you can do as a pitcher.
See him reaching. Just right around the bag. Boy, that was a slice job. That works in baseball. In golf, that's out of bounds.
Yeah, teeing up another one.
Give him credit. Actually, Lynn executed that pitch location-wise where he wanted to.
So here's Candelario. You think that Candelario has a lot of pressure on him because the GM of the Tigers, Al Avila, actually traded his son to the Cubs, and Candelario was part of the return. So if you're going to trade your son, the guy you get back better be good.
Yeah, it's got to be an odd conversation. I just traded you.
Probably an odd Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
And there's that deal. Avila and Justin Wilson. 3-0 on Candelario.
Have to imagine Avila would show up to the dinner table in a brand new Chicago Cubs t-shirt. Just to show Dad, you know what? This is what I think of your trade. How you like that?
And a 4-pitch walk to load the bases. Here comes Larry Rothschild. This chiropractic telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
Now, ever since Bill Belichick started wearing hoodies on the sidelines, now everybody's got them. Coaches got them.
Hoodie making a comeback, huh?
So 5 straight out of the zone from Lynn. Bases loaded, 1 out. Jones at the plate. He tripled and scored in the first inning.
This is the danger zone for a pitcher. You end up trying to make perfect pitches to save a run, and that can lead to a big inning. So that's your first priority. And you see Larry Rothschild's going to get on the horn right now.
See if they turn 2. There's 1. And there's 2. Got just what he needed. A 4-6-3 double play, and we'll see if they made the correct call at first. Carlos Torres took a long time to take a look. Now you take a look. It's like they got him. And if his foot was on the bag, they definitely did. And that's the way the Tigers see it as well. Game is tied at 2. Toyota, the Camry Hybrid is the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. You think pitchers should be allowed to look at scatter reports while they are on the mound? I really don't see why not. Everyone else is allowed to use them. Not sure why the pitcher isn't. As long as he steps off the rubber, it shouldn't be a problem. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Camry Hybrid to keep the conversation going. Happened in the Phillies game yesterday. And here is Adeiny Echevarria. Now, before we get into this conversation, for years, playing for the Tampa Bay Rays, who have a great PR staff, in their media guide, his name with the pronunciation guide was Adeiny Echevarria. This has been since he's been in the big leagues. And Jack Curry and Sweeney Murdy just went up to him before the game today and asked him just to make sure, how do you pronounce your name? He said, Adeiny Echevarria. Lined to short, 1 away. So all the years it's been put in a pronunciation guide a certain way, and that's not the way he pronounces it.
I got a good chance of butchering it for the game's over. I'll tell you that right now.
Hetchy.
Yeah, Hetchy. We need a nickname, Coney. Yeah, boy.
Now, on the other subject that we were talking about with the cheat sheet, you can see the Philly pitcher. It's taken away by Joe West.
Of course it was Joe West.
This is Austin Davis. Here's what I don't get, David. Doesn't the catcher have everything the pitcher has to know in his head and on his wristband?
I'm sure he does, but sometimes, the pitcher, nowadays might want to just get a refresher. I mean, back in the day, it used to be emery boards.
Yeah, you worried about those, huh? Or a little Vaseline or something that you were doctoring the baseball up
Sandpaper.
with. Something.
Now it's scouting reports.
Grounded sharply to second.
You could tell if I had a hole this big inside, all right, you can get him out by throwing the ball inside under his hands. Okay, but is the pitcher good enough to hit that spot? That's what pitching and hitting is about. If you're good enough to hit that hole, you're going to get me out. If you miss out over the plate, I got a chance of putting it in play, right?
Absolutely. Execution is still the most important thing. Pitching to your strengths as a pitcher, still the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, outfielders carry cards where they should be set up defensively. Some of them have it in their hat. I think the only danger with the pitcher having a card like that, I mean, you're looking to increase the pace of game.
Yeah, it might be a time issue.
Yeah. But I'm not quite sure what rule Joe West could have employed to take that away from him.
Joe's got his own rules.
Rule 602C7 prohibits a pitcher from having on his person or in his possession any foreign substance. That card's not a foreign substance. Probably came from a tree here in America.
Possible. Depends.
McCutcheon still looking for his first Yankee hit. Three and one.
Definitely a little bit of eyewash involved with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Wait, let me pull my card out. On the 2-1 pitch, this guy hits 635 on changeups. We used to have those scouting meetings back, in the 90s, and, it was all handwritten back then, as you know, Paul. And it got really redundant and repetitive, high and tight, low and away. And this guy's a good slider ball hitter, and I'd always, at this point, I'd throw my hands up. Who's slider?
Yeah, exactly. If I throw my good slider, he's not going to hit it. If I hang it, he'll bang it.
3-2. Still 3-2. Popped up.
It's funny, we were just down in Miami and you were talking about those meetings, and Mattingly, I was talking to him on the field and he was talking to a couple of his coaches, and he was absolutely in hysterics because you talk about the redundant meetings, and we were in hitters meetings, this guy throws this, and he said, do you remember that one meeting? Lefty throws hard, wild, up and into lefties, and I just was like, what? Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden your attention is like, what kind of scouting report is that? Mattingly still was laughing about it.
Didn't really need to hear that.
Wild up and into lefties. Sick. Let me dig in on this one.
Remember in '95, Buck Showalter used to have those meetings with the chalkboards before every, and I just got traded over, and I walked in late one day, and it was like the kid in class. Where, you looked, everybody looked, where you been?
High drive, left field. Ma took back on the track at the wall. The catch is made, I believe it was by Jones, for the final out as McCutcheon gave it a ride. So the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. We will go to the third inning. This game is tied at 2. Ballpark app, access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Castellanos, Goodrum, and Machuk will lead off or hit here in the third. First up is Castellanos. Very interesting observation.
Hey, people bring a bird to the game, huh?
A bird? Wow.
And make sure that you get those wings clipped. It won't fly away.
I'd be an Oriole fan.
Blue Jay, one of the two.
Did you notice in his last at bat that Andrew McCutchen did not have the diamond stud in the nose?
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a choice today that he made or if it's a choice that was made for him.
Jack Curry. Let's get on it. That's in-depth reporting.
Can't hide. You just can't hide. It's a Truman Show for these poor guys down there. Big out here for Lance Lynn. You know, toughest hitter, as Paulie said. Kind of need a quick inning here in a 2-2 game.
Oh, there's Echevarria with the catch. He can pick it with anybody. Just an outstanding defensive shortstop.
It's all about the break that you get. I mean, not even in the picture, but it moving immediately. You see this in Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer, and that's a big play. Leadoff single or one out. You know, as a pitcher, Coney, that it makes a big difference.
A little bit of luck goes a long way.
Goodrum takes the strike. Top of the third, 2-2 game, fourth game of this set. Fly ball right field coming on McCutchen, and he makes the play.
Wow, what a great play. And you know what, as you watch the end of this play, he kind of veered off to the right to keep the ball where you can see it, diving straight into it. You see he starts to go to his right, which you could keep sight of the ball to catch it. Makes it a much easier play. Great play by McCutchen. And there's nothing harder as an outfielder to dive straight at a ball in front of you. And if you can get an angle where you can get it to the side, either way, a lot easier.
There's Mata. 1-0.
But big difference, right? 2 quick outs, or that easily could have been first and third, nobody out.
You see he's just struggling a little bit with control, where the first inning, you know, he was ahead of everybody, and all of a sudden now pitching behind in the count, and it's a fastball pitcher. That's not where you want to be.
right in on the hands and foul back.
I'll tell you one thing, though, I have noticed in his starts 2-1, 2-0, 3-1 fastball counts. He will challenge you. He's not going to change and try to trick you.
Looks to me like, you know, he's got an idea when he's got the platoon advantage, a right-handed batter, righty on righty, that he has a good formula. He knows what he wants to do. Two-seamer in, seen a cutter slider away, and then four-seamer up. The lefties have given him a little trouble this year.
Strike three. Machuk down looking. A 1-2-3 inning for Lance Lynn, and we're going to go to the bottom of the third here in the Bronx. It's a 2-2 game. Look to stay unbeaten at home when they face off with the New England Revolution here at Yankee Stadium. Coverage begins at 7, presented by Etihad Airways right here on Yes. Look at Chris Sheeran there, signing a check, which he never does. So he has a day off, and he's enjoying the game here at the ballpark with his family. Very nice.
It's a corporate card. Sign that all you want, right?
I don't know if Chris has one of those. Here's Aaron Hicks. He homered against an unnamed sign in the first inning.
I just gave it a name, Michael. I was just teasing. I was checking you. It was early in the game. I wanted to see if you're awake.
I had a good night's sleep last night.
There we go. It's always funny to me as a hitter. Aaron Hicks shows, you know, last time up that he can handle that ball away, the fastball. And I always thought as a hitter, next time up, you seldom see that same pitch that you just hit out of the ballpark. I've seen a couple breaking balls. I would imagine, you know, the hard stuff that will be in, and the breaking ball's in.
Let's take a look at this on StatCast AI, powered by AWS. So under 100 miles an hour exit velo, traveled projected 384, and the launch angle 32 degrees. Of course, he hit a frozen rope. Two and two. Fly ball right field. Reyes makes the play.
Well, I tell you what, by Boyd missing his location there, he almost gave up the second one. Ball's supposed to be in, and it ends up exactly where the other one was.
Carbon copy, you're right.
There's Andujar. Calls time. Right in on the thumbs, popped up to McCann. 2 away. And that'll bring up Gary Sanchez and brings us to the Jeep Hitter Scouting Report.
Well, he is back in the middle, and Boone and company have been waiting to get him back in the lineup. And, you know, can he salvage the season? Came in hitting 185, but he's hit some home runs. And, you know, when you go down with a great September and an October, all will be forgotten. He can lighten the load. Stanton's been in there 85 straight games. Sanchez back in the lineup, you can actually give some guys some days off.
Sanchez hit the ball hard a couple of times yesterday, nothing to show for it, but picked up an RBI single left in the first inning today. 43rd rookie of the year. He's missed. Let's see. 52 games with injuries. 2 stints on the DL. Ground ball is short. Rodriguez will get Sanchez, and that will do it here in the 3rd. So Boyd has retired 7 in a row since the Voit single in the first. We have 3 in the books. We have a 2-2 game. Now one of 3 teams have 2 former MVP winners currently on the same team. Who are the other 2 teams? I think one of the Reds teams you growing up probably had 2 MVPs. Oh, currently. It's currently. Okay.
I'm going to throw Houston out there. I don't know who the second is.
Audi scoreboard 2-2 as we start the fourth.
Go west, young man.
Go west. So Houston, I'm still in the running.
Further
No.
west.
I think they go further.
Right to the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Where if you were fishing, you could maybe catch a trout.
Nice. I got that one.
I think you got the other one too. First ballot Hall of Famer. Swing and a miss. McCann down on strikes.
That has been his bread and butter. Up the ladder, Lance Lynn works the top of the zone and just above once again.
So you got the other player?
Yeah, I got that
Okay.
one.
All right.
But it was 3 teams, though, right?
2 other teams.
Oh, 2 other teams.
Yankees are the 3rd team.
All right.
Looped into center field. It's a base hit for Rodriguez. He's 2 for 2.
If you look at it, Coney, he has given up some jam shots today, and it seems like they're all falling. You know, when he's on, you're going to see a lot of ground balls. That's what he's looking for.
He's been able to get big strikeouts when he's needed them most. Still 5 strikeouts, only 1 walk on the day. Big double play ball, like you said, when he needed it.
Lugo takes inside. Lugo single to center in the second. One and one.
You know, I mentioned Lance Lynn. Boy, he just looks really comfortable against right-handed hitters, running that 2-seamer in and then that 4-seamer cutting away. On this year, right-handed batters batting just .240 against him. Left-handed batters .298.
Those are the numbers David's talking about.
You can tell from his approach. He just looks real comfortable in how to attack. You know, usually have a formula. This is how I go again about getting out right-handed batters, and this is my formula for lefties. And there shouldn't be any doubt. I don't need a cheat sheet. You know, I know what my formula is.
Right.
I don't need to pull something out of my back pocket. This is how I get right-handers out, and this is how I get lefties out. Looks like maybe he could use a little wrinkle to help him with lefties. Al Leiter talked about his curveball.
Up the middle, right over second base and into center field. The base hit for Lugo. Rodriguez will stop at second. First and second, 1 man out. Pitch high to Reyes, 1-0.
I sort of agree with what Al Leiter was talking about when he watched Lance Lynn pitch in Miami that day. And we saw it with El Duque for years. When you get these spots, you need to get a strike. That first pitch curveball to jump up. 0-1.
It's amazing, and I've talked about it numerous times where, most hitters go up to the plate looking for a fastball, so you don't have to throw your best curveball for strike one. And you actually, as a pitcher, looking back, I don't think you want to throw your best curveball. You want to keep that for your strikeout, but you can get ahead of a hitter very easily by throwing something off speed just over the plate early.
Yeah, that's what you're banking on. Lynn missed with the first fastball up. Threw another four-seam cutter in, got him to pull a foul. Now he's back even, 1-1.
Two and two.
Couple of fastballs away, one missed, one fouled off. Now here's the spot. What is your finish pitch? We talk about the formulas. Okay, against a righty, I know what I'm going to do, depending on how I got there. Now, what's my out pitch right here? We should find out with Lance Lynn right now. How am I going to get this lefty out in this spot?
Say away, away, away. You would think it's something inside. He missed his target there. He was trying to go with a four-seamer in and ended up kind of sailing it away. You see the target, and that's what we talked about. Do you have the ability to hit that target behind, but still able to get a piece of it?
Two. There's a fair ball just inside the left field line. Rodriguez scores. The throw is to second, and getting to second is Reyes with an RBI double, and the Tigers lead 3-2.
Especially against some of these young hitters. I mean, to continually go hard, they will catch up to it sooner or later. And this really not that bad of a pitch. But you've seen that velocity, 3 or 4 times consecutively where something off speed, something you see Tanaka throwing that split finger down in the dirt, you'll get a lot of swing and misses.
Yeah, in that situation, either you're going for the strikeout or you're going for the ground ball. Kind of got caught in the middle there. Ended up missing location a bit down the middle and paid the price.
Well, the bottom of the order has really hurt Lynn. 7, 8, 9 in this game is 6 for 6. Yankees bring the infield in for Candelario, second and third, one man out. 1-0.
Got to really concentrate here. Try to do damage control. Big difference between a 3-2 and a 5-2 game. One out, second and third here. Infield all the way in.
Tommy Kahnle up. One, 1-2. And the pitch. Sky to the left side, foul ball. No one could get there.
Again, trying to get that ball inside and tailing out over the plate. I mean, at 96, but still the speed, it's all the same at this point in this at bat.
First time we've seen a curveball in that sequence, 80 miles an hour, way out in front. It's a good try. This is what Al Leiter was talking about, and not so much the location, just the speed. You see, he barely gets a piece of it after all of those fastballs. Any pitch at 80 miles an hour was going to be pretty effective. Give Candelario credit, just barely spoils that. You know, we saw that cutter slider away to righties. Down and into a lefty's a pretty good option if he can throw that one to try to miss the bat.
Soft ground ball foul.
Good four-seamer kind of boring in after the 80-mile-an-hour curveball. So back and forth. You know, after that pitch, the slider down and in is a good tunneling pitch right off of the same plane.
Still 1-2.
Tried it. 91 miles an hour. That's his cutter slider right there. He's thrown him the kitchen sink, and he just can't quite get him to swing and miss or hit it on the ground at one of his fielders. That's why Romine's out there. We've tried everything. Now what? What do you feel? For Lance Lynn, it seems like he's most comfortable when he gets in these spots, the high fastball. We see his two-seamer in the low 90s, his four-seamer that kind of cuts in the mid-90s.
2-2.
The only problem with the high fastball in this spot is the infield's in. So if he fights it off, a pop-up will easily fall over the infield into the grass.
Candelario really battling.
Nine pitches this at bat. Quite a battle on a big part of the game. Make or break time for Lance Lynn. Pitch number 80 as well.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout of Candelario.
And it did come on the breaking ball at 81. Finally got him out in front where he could put him away. Big strikeout.
This is what Al Leiter was talking about. It's more about the speed rather than the location. Even though the location was pretty good as well. It was outer third down. Another good look at the grip and release on our Yesmo. Tumbling curveball action. Brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer and Lance Lynn's right arm.
Jones fouls it away.
That was a good look right there at Lance Lynn going after a left-handed batter, the ones that have given him trouble. Finally coming up with a pitch that worked. Pitches by inning. Not great. Number 27 coming for this inning.
Base hit inside third. Lugo scores. Reyes scores. Jones is at second. He'll stop right there with a two-run double.
And a real backbreaker. Any two-out hit for a pitcher, and the body language from Lance Lynn tells you everything you need to know.
There's been a lot of that in this homestand, Coney. A lot of two-out, run-scoring hits. Sinker, actually not too bad of a pitch. He got to it, though, and just shot it down the left field line, and that's going to be it for Lance Lynn.
Rough start for Lynn. He gives up 9 hits in 3 2/3 innings, and that was a killer. The final blow, the double inside third base, and he leaves trailing by a score of 5-2. Coming in, Tommy Kahnle. timing. And by Toyota, Camry Hybrid is the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Now, Lance Lynn did not have it, giving up 9 hits in 3 2/3. Runner at second is his responsibility.
He faced 20 batters today and got out 10.
That's not good. Could be a slugfest here. Well, see who ends up on top.
Here's Castellanos. Driven to left field. Did he get enough? Oh, it's off the wall.
No, that's a home run.
Oh, they're saying it's a home run that a fan reached over. So a home run for Castellanos. A 2-run shot, and it's 7-2 Tigers.
It's been another theme from this homestand is right out of the bullpen immediately. Chad Green gave up a hit, Holder gave up a run, and now Canely immediately, boom.
Well, they're not challenging, so they obviously think that the ball would have hit the top of the wall or even go into the stands. Goodrum takes outside.
Yeah, that wasn't Jeffrey Mayer reaching over, that's for sure.
The Yankees have dug themselves quite a hole.
The Castellanos, we talked about the whole series. The one guy you don't want to let beat you, even though the other guys have done pretty good damage, including this guy batting here. It's back-to-back 20 home run seasons now for Castellanos. 26 last year.
Two on, 2-2. Foul back. Well, the first 3 games Lynn had for the Yankees, outstanding. Last 4, he has struggled. Now, before the game, the Yankees called up Jonathan Loaizaga, and he was actually slated to start today. So if they need length out of a pitcher, they could go to Loaizaga and not burn the rest of the bullpen.
Loaizaga was very exciting when he came up before they had to send him out and he went on the DL.
And down goes Goodrum, but the Tigers score 5 runs on 5 hits. They knock out Lynn. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Yankees down by 5.
analysis of the Yankees' September stretch run to the playoffs. Plus, get all the pro football talk in advance of the NFL season openers. Catch TMKS on Yes every weekday starting at 3 o'clock.
Gleyber Torres leads off against Matthew Boyd as the Tigers lead this one 7-2 on the Audi scoreboard.
Got the big fantasy draft tomorrow night, Michael. Big night for me.
You know who you're going to pick?
Well, depends on who goes before.
Yeah, what selection are you?
I think 5th.
Giants made news today. They're making their cuts, and they cut their, we thought, highly regarded backup quarterback Davis Webb. Shocking many Giant fans. So take him off your list. Torres struck out in the first inning.
I'll give you a name.
Yeah.
He's not a new name, but his father played Major League Baseball. It's going to be his first year taking over as a starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes.
You like him?
Yes.
I might take him as a backup, just so I can put it on your shoulders in case I need him. Right?
He's looked good. He's got big talent, big arm. It's going to be his first time.
Nice.
Going to be the starting quarterback.
Judge and Coney just taking in a game together, huh?
Nice. Sonny Gray is up in the Yankee bullpen. Grounded to third. Candelario. One down. Why don't we get the answer to the trivia question? Yankees are now one of 3 teams that have 2 former MVP winners currently on the same team. The other 2 teams, well, one's the Angels.
Yeah.
Pujols and Trout.
Maybe the Nationals, maybe? Harper? No.
Altuve and Verlander with the Astros.
I was right. I told you the Astros.
Yes.
I didn't know if Verlander got the MVP or just a Cy Young. Man, I feel real good about my guesses right now.
The only thing you have to guess for the remainder of the day is whether the 2 of us are going to make our flights.
At this point, it doesn't look good. Did we talk to Elsa coming over here and picking us up?
Well, I will tell you what. Kenny's out in Oakland already, so he's going to have to pull a Mr. Scully and do the game alone if I don't make it.
You guys go ahead and leave. I'll take it from here.
You got it? You got donuts, coffee, you're good to go.
Got it.
That one's driven to right field. Off the bat of Voit. See ya! A home run for Voit. And it's 7-3 Tigers.
Yeah, like a matter of time against lefties before he was going to shoot one out to right. Well, it's an easy way to get back into the game. I tell you what, that, again, not a paint scraper. That ball was a bomb. It just looks like his approach against lefties to really stay in there and shoot it the other way. Boy, he could be really, really tough here in Yankee Stadium.
But taking advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah.
He's not wanting to let go.
Romine swings and misses.
That's how he stays close and it almost just points it out there. And right there, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, ball away, pitch it away. You're going to get another baseball with that approach.
It looked like a left-handed pull hitter with that one. That was hammered.
The 0-1. 0-2.
107.6 miles an hour up the bat. Sound tells you something right there.
A little hop in his step afterwards, too, doesn't he?
He had a little James Brown splits at first base, too, on the double play. Did you see him?
Yeah.
Full splits.
Jack Curry has more on Luke Voit.
Yeah, Michael, I talked to GM Brian Cashman about 10 days ago, and if you recall, there was a game earlier this year where Greg Bird had a couple of doubles, and then Voit was playing for him the next day, and that caused a lot of consternation. There were a lot of questions about it. As we see the call here, it's going to be a ball. And Cashman said, listen, we needed to find out what we had in Voit. That's why Voit played that next day. He eventually went down to AAA, and now if you look what he's done across his last 10 games, 13 for 30. Spoke to him yesterday about his exploits and what he's been able to do. So we see Romine go down on the swing and miss there. He's prouder of his brother. Guys, if you get a chance, go to YouTube. His brother was a captain at West Point football, 2017 Army-Navy game. Army wins 14-13. John Voit, Luke's younger brother, with a game-saving tackle in that game.
Oh, the stories we come up with, huh, Mike?
Amazing.
No way to pick us up, Jack. We were struggling down here a little bit.
Always available.
Here's Echevarria.
I think John Sterling changed his home run call on Luke Voit. Originally it was Voit is adroit.
Right.
And I think it's now Luke fills the void.
I like Voit is adroit better. Grounded foul.
What's that even mean? What's
what?
adroit?
Adroit? Good at something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's why I haven't heard it.
That's why you haven't used it. You're not adroit at using that word. The 0-2. 1-2. Now, can you imagine? I mean, he's got it right now. But what's his Echevarria call?
Ooh. I can only imagine.
Well, he has to save it for another at bat. Fly ball to left, and that'll do it.
Adini hits one in the hiney.
Oh my God. I don't think that's it, David. Voit was adroit with a home run. We'll go to the fifth. How did a team let Daniel Murphy get to the Cubs? It's inconceivable to me.
It's a great point. And that's the, it's kind of you give a lesson on how waivers work. They work in reverse order of your record. So any team before the Cubs that had a worse record could have blocked him.
And no one did.
And in that situation, you could still work out a trade if you're the claiming team. And a lot of times the Nationals would pull him back off of waivers at that point, and the block would have been effective. Otherwise, they just have to let him go for nothing. That's what happened to the Yankees with Jose Canseco back in 2000, if you remember. Yankees just were trying to block Canseco from going somewhere and ended up stuck with him. It was better than letting him go somewhere else to possibly beat you.
Right. As you saw, the Yankees, if you were waiting on a Sonny Gray, here he is. He is in. And Yankees are looking for him to give him a couple of innings here. GMC scoreboard 7-3 Tigers over the Yanks. Or Jeff Quagliata has a note on Luke Voit. Ground ball at third, backhanded by Andujar. The long throw. That's a nice play by Andujar.
You know what, Mike, I don't want to interrupt, but that's an adjustment. You see, he got rid of that ball much quicker, knowing from the other day, watch, there was no stutter step. He immediately got rid of the ball, and that's just a learning process, and you'd like to see that from Andujar defensively.
Well, we've heard he's got a cannon, and he shows it off. I mean, there's no sidearm delivery here. This is right over the top, four-seam gas.
Anyway, our very own Jeff Quagliata says that Voit with the Cardinals had 5 home runs in 137 plate appearances. With the Yankees, 5 home runs in 54 plate appearances. Now, Sonny Gray pitched very well in a start in Baltimore in a doubleheader, and then after the game, he raised some eyebrows. He said, "I'm one of the better pitchers in the American League," and you know that's I guess it's low-hanging fruit where you can make fun of something, but if you're a major league ballplayer, you have to think of yourself like that, right, David?
Absolutely. Anytime you take any comment out of context, it's easy to make your own meaning up. But that's what he's trying to pump himself up. He's trying to say, I believe my stuff was. I was at one point one of the best American League starting pitchers. That's the guy that Brian Cashman thought he was when he made the trade. Talking like he still believes in himself is the way I took that.
There's a base hit, right field for McCann. Imagine the outcry if he said, I'm a terrible pitcher. Well, then you jump him for that. So he's saying, I'm one of the best pitchers. And when the Yankees got him from the A's, by the way, they thought he was one of the best pitchers in the American League. And he certainly has stuff that would make him, if he can corral it, one of the better pitchers in the American League. This should be 2. There's 1. And there's 2. 4-6-3 double play out the bat of Rodriguez. No runs a hit, no errors. Nobody left. At the end of 4.5, halfway through, 7-3 Tigers.
Gregorius running the bases, fielding grounders today. He's trying to come back from a left heel contusion. Today is the 13th game that he has missed. Aaron Boone talked about him ramping up his activities today, but General Manager Brian Cashman has pinpointed Thursday in Seattle as the likely time when we might see DeDe Gregorius activated.
And then Aaron Boone today said definitely not tomorrow, but he left open Tuesday and Wednesday. So I think Brian Cashman erring on the side of caution and would like to go with Friday in Seattle. But, if he had a good day today, as Jack said, which he did, we'll see how he recovers. GMC scoreboard 7-3 Tigers. Gardner shows bunt, takes a strike.
You almost wonder this day and age where, in the old days, they would come to you, are you ready to go? And, if you gave them the, yeah, I feel good, you were in there. And now I think sometimes you're right, Michael, you do kind of hold players back. If the organization doesn't want to push them, and then you've had, the setback with Sanchez. So you just don't want to see that. Brett Gardner pops up a pitch.
And you're sure that Gregorius wants to be activated tomorrow?
Speaking of tomorrow, you finish this series up, you jump on a plane, and you have kind of that medium day game tomorrow, a 4 o'clock game. Obviously, time-wise, it's pretty much
1 o'clock out there.
Yeah.
So here's McCutchen, still looking for his first Yankee hit. 0 for 2 today.
Actually, looking back, Coney, I preferred day games out there in Oakland. It was the only other place because the ball carries boards are hot, and it gets very cool there at night. One of the better places to play day games.
You're right. It is generally a pitcher's ballpark because of all the foul territory, and the ball doesn't carry as night. But during the day, it kind of cancels out. The ball will jump there.
High fly ball, right field. Ray is back on the track. In front of the wall, he makes the play.
McCutchen getting very close. He's hitting 2 balls. He's hit 2 balls to the wall with left center, but this is the swing I think is going to help him, and he was not able to do it in San Francisco very often. See that front shoulder closed? Ball just goes off the end of the bat enough to keep it in the ballpark, but he is able to hit the ball to right center field. Again, very close to 2 home runs today.
Agreed. Just a little too high. 44-degree launch angle on that last one at 97 miles an hour off the bat.
Here's Hicks. 1 for 2. The one a home run in the first inning, is 24th of the year. 0-1.
Once in a while, you see that breaking ball from Boyd, and I mean, it starts on the outside part of the plate and ends up all the way across. That big slurve.
We talked about the David Price trade, and Daniel Norris being the headliner. Well, Boyd was part of that trade too. So 2 lefties for David Price back in the day.
Rip down the left field line and foul.
And you can kind of see why. They both were really good prospects, Boyd and Norris, and they get them both going at the same time. Then you've got 2 legitimate left-handed starters. They've had trouble keeping Norris healthy, but his stuff was really pretty impressive yesterday. And Boyd is better than you think, that's for sure. Just hasn't had a lot of run support. He's got 7 today. He's not used to it.
1-2.
Usually Matthew Boyd gets about, as we mentioned in our scouting report, about a little over 3.5 runs per 9 innings to work with. That's the 4th lowest in the AL.
One, 2. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strong inning for Boyd as he retires the Yankees in order 1, 2, 3, 5 in a row since the Boyd home run. We'll go to the 6th, 7-3 Tigers. We move to the 6th inning. Sonny Gray is on the mound, his 2nd inning of work. Lance Lynn started, went 3 2/3, 9 hits and 6 runs. Oh, 2. Nice way to break into the big leagues for Dawel Lugo. 2 for 2 today. In this series, he's 6 for 14. One and 2.
Michael, did you talk to my guy, Sun Min Kim, today?
Yes, I did.
Good kid right there. Good writer. Do an interview with him?
Yeah, he's writing a story about how people in foreign countries actually learn English by listening to baseball broadcasts.
Wow.
And he said, how does that make you feel? I said, well, it's a lot of responsibility. I feel sorry for a lot of people that learn from me.
Sun Min Kim has come a long way, Paul. He's a really good kid, good writer. Now writing for The Athletic, River Avenue Blues.
I asked him, David, I don't know if you got a chance to speak to him today. I said, well, when are you going to be back? Because he's from Korea. He said, probably another 2 years. I said, 2 years? You always come back. He goes, no, I have to serve my military time.
Wow.
Two. Grounded softly to second. Gleyber Torres gets Lugo.
Athletic. I read an article the other day. That's becoming the new hot thing, huh, Cohen?
No, it's a great publication. There's a lot of great writers on there. You got to pay for it. It's a pay site. It's not freebie.
No.
But it's worth it, I think, because the content there is excellent.
It's so good, but it's so comprehensive. There's just no way you could read everything. If you've got a job, there's no way you could read everything that's on that site. You have to pick and choose.
Do you have a job, Mike?
I've got 2.
You do work a lot of hours. I know that.
Yes, I do.
Wondered what you were considering. A lot of talking.
And then when I do get a chance to read, I have to read between, rolls of the dice or whatever you do in Candyland.
Nice.
Got to squeeze it all in.
Favorites.
Actually, the cards. You pick your cards, and that's how you move. The 2-0. Reyes hits one deep to right field. That's going to go. See ya into the second deck. A solo shot against Gray, and it's 8-3 Tigers. Some day for Victor Reyes, 3 for 3, 2 doubles and a home run. And that is his first big league home run.
It's hard to imagine. I mean, he comes into the game hitting .211, no home runs, and he looks like a stud today.
Well, the old stadium configuration had the upper deck. That was the traditional upper deck glass. Now the second deck here, the new configuration, kind of serves the purpose of the upper deck. So the second deck, but that's something you'll never forget. Your first home run at Yankee Stadium into the, what is it? Essentially the upper deck.
There's been ball in the upper deck here in right field, huh?
I was just trying to remember. Close. I'm not sure if it's gone in. I think a ball might have gone into the luxury level underneath, but we'll check. Because that's a height. Because it's not like the old stadium where it's overhang. It's kind of reset.
Yeah, I've seen it up on the suite level before, up in there. I think Lucas Duda hit one off the facade up there, right down the line. I'm not sure we've seen one fly up into the third deck here, or essentially would be the fourth deck. above the suite level. But yeah, this second level here, that is essentially what the upper deck was at the old stadium.
Two and two.
Still remember the grand slam Jim Thome hit off me in the playoffs. We were leading 6-1. I tried to blow that game.
He just wanted to make it exciting,
It was
Cody. That's all.
loud and long. Man, Thome could hit him. Like exit velocity 2000, it sounded like.
You didn't think there was a chance I was going to catch someone for you?
Wow, you didn't even move. It went from 6-1 to 6-5 in a hurry. Luckily, we held on. That was the clincher that we beat Cleveland, I think, in '98. Some big game pitcher.
Luke Voigt can't make the play. It's a foul ball. Hey, you know, we should send out our best wishes and congratulations. You'll see how close Voigt came to this. One of the all-time greats in our business and in the sport, Hawk Harrelson, is going to retire at the end of the year, and they had a big day for him today at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Big crowd, and he is ending his broadcasting career.
Yeah, he brought a lot of personality to the game, no doubt about it, in his broadcasting. Good pitch by Gray there.
And he could play. I think he finished third in the MVP in 1968. He's a great golfer, and just you know, he also did Yankee games on what was Sports Channel at that time. I believe he and Bobby Mercer for a couple of years, and then went to Chicago, and he's become a legend there.
Time to put Hawk on the board.
Yes. Well, I'm looking at pictures of the ballpark in Chicago, and it's jammed. I mean, they have not drawn many people, but that's how beloved Hawk Harrelson is.
Well, if you listen to one of those broadcasts, you know who he's rooting for.
Oh, yeah.
He's a hometowner.
Yeah, it'd be silent today, right? If he was calling this game.
Yeah, look, he'd be chapped.
Swing and a miss. I mean, that's kind of expected in Chicago, though.
Yeah, they got used to it. I mean, there's a couple sayings that anybody that follows baseball at all knows. All from Hawk Harrelson.
Swing and a miss. And Jacoby Jones is down on strike. David, we thought we'd do this just so you could feel good about life. Jim Thome.
Oh, you dirty, no good, rotten scoundrels.
I got a bad jump on it, Coney. I would have had it right up the steps.
It's halfway up.
Coney, flashback. This is a good one. Coming off the DL after the aneurysm surgery, 7 no-hit innings on this date, 1996. A great play by Bernie to take away a hit, maybe save a run. But Joe Torre said, "You're at your pitch limit, son. That will do it for you." But what a return off the DL by David Cone on this date in 1996.
Any disappointment coming out of that game, Coney? I mean, you got to feel great about getting back in the game, but any disappointment, or you just knew it had to be that way?
I was shocked. I was stunned. I didn't, it was one of those, it was a surreal moment to where, you weren't thinking clearly. I was so caught up in the emotion of the day. It was 4 months I had missed with an aneurysm.
Right.
I only made 2 minor league rehab starts. And I told Billy Connors, the late great Billy Connors, that I'm wasting bullets down here. Let's go. So they bought it. We talk about D.D. Gregorius and guys on the DL. They said, okay, well, you ready? Let's go.
I can literally remember walking over and, you talked to Bernie to, warm up. And it was like 4th, 5th inning, and you were just dealing. And I'm looking at Bernie, I'm like, can you believe this? I mean, it's not like it's been 4 days or 4 weeks. I mean, it's been a while.
You know what? If you had completed it, it would have taken some of the starch away from the perfect game. You know what I mean? So 3 years later, baseball immortality in the Bronx.
So it was just a little teaser.
Yeah, a little tease. And David always tells this story. Mo came in relief, gave up a hit. He had no idea, right, that he was pitching a no-hitter.
No, I went to Mariano Rivera after the game. I said, man, we almost had it, Mo. So we get another look here, and it's a called strike that Mickey thinks is a little high.
Well, that was ball 4.
And Mo looked at me, Paul, and he said, almost had what? What are you talking about?
Really didn't know, huh?
Had no clue.
Mo didn't go down to the bullpen until like 5th or 6th inning a lot of times.
No, 96 he did. That was before he was Mo. He was just setting up for Wetland.
Hey, Michael, can I interject here real quick?
Sure.
Because I remember covering.
Come on in, Jack.
I remember covering that game, so I'm going to take you guys to the Wayback Machine. This is what David said afterwards. I'll never wonder if this could have been my last opportunity to throw one. I wouldn't think that way. I appreciate that they took me out of the game. It's more important for us to get to the playoffs and the World Series. And Joe Torre's comment was, if I would have left him in and throw 105 or 106 pitches and his shoulder would have been achy tomorrow or down the road, I never would have been able to live with myself. I would have always regretted it.
All right, so David, you had the great eyewash quote.
That was eyewash.
But what did you really feel?
That was the lead quote in my New York Times article. Don't sully it.
I really just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe not only that it was happening, like you said, Paulie, but that Torre wasn't going to let me finish it. I couldn't believe any of it.
Did you try to politic with him?
I sat down and I said, look, Joe, if you leave this up to me, I'm going back out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he just walked away from me. He said no.
You had thrown 85 pitches at that time.
Hey, Michael, can I throw one more thing out there? I have the best quote in the story. David's dad, Ed, was at the game, and I happened to talk to him afterwards, and he said if they had left the decision up to David, they would have needed a tractor to get him out of there. For David's well-being, I think it was better that the Yankees took him out.
Your dad knows you well.
That's the first big league game I ever pitched when Dad sat right over the dugout.
Nice.
Every time I walked out off the mound in between innings, I had eye contact with my dad. That never happens. There's a family section. Usually, whoever your family is sitting up pretty far away from the field. You can't really see them.
It's like going back to high school, I forgot you didn't have a high school team. Going back to Little League when you're walking off the field and you're looking at your dad as you walk off.
My dad taught me how to pitch. He was the guy that took me in the backyard, like many fathers and sons and mothers and daughters.
Swing and a miss as Sanchez down on strikes.
Well,
Did your dad go to that because it was such a big deal coming back from the aneurysm?
Yes, he did. It was that emotional. I thought nobody knew. We thought at first it was life-threatening. I didn't know what the word aneurysm meant. And certainly we thought maybe I would never pitch again. And then that day was that emotional that I made sure he was there. And the Oakland A's were great. They made sure he had a seat right over our dugout. The first base dugout in Oakland.
Here's Gleyber Torres. And there's a strike. Yankees are trailing 8-3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning, trying to take this 4-game set. If the Tigers hold on, it would be a split of a 4-game set. And it would be an under 500 homestand for the Yankees against 2 bad teams. So this is a pretty important game. Count 0-2.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to lose is that home field advantage, and they really haven't had a good month at home. I mean, they've been so good coming up to, you know, a lot of part of the year at playing well at home.
Well, you've been calling for a while, Paul. This West Coast swing coming up is a big one.
High fly ball, left side. Ma took on the run toward the line. He'll make the play for the second out.
Well, as Hicks did early in the game, you know, he took that ball away and just hammered it. And I would imagine if you're Boyd, you know, you kind of change things here, try to keep the ball in, go for some breaking balls. I always love to watch hitters hit after they've hit a ball and see if the pitcher makes that adjustment, tries to do something different. About a change up away. It'll work too.
One and one.
Wow.
It's a healthy hack.
Again, Boyd, it looks like he has a little. He can get the breaking ball in on righties, but he has a little trouble getting that fastball in under their hands. That ball missed across the plate. Pretty good 10 games right there. 5 home runs, over 400.
1-2.
What's funny, as a hitter, you don't know that they're trying to get the ball in on you here because the last 2 pitches he's missed. So you, in your mind, you still think they're trying to get you out of the way.
That's exactly right. You know, pitchers don't throw it where they're trying to a lot of times.
And the 1-2. 2-2. And Voit goes down on strikes, so they retire him for the first time in the game. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. We go to the 7th. It's 8-3 Tigers. It's Yankees T-shirt day, and the first 18,000 guests in attendance are going to receive a Yankees T-shirt courtesy of Sato. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com. Visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees Clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Now we go to the 7th inning, 3rd inning of work for Sonny Gray. Lance Lynn started. Tommy Kahnle came on to get the final out of the 4th inning. And then Gray started the 5th, gave up a home run in the 6th. Here he is in the 7th. Cadillac scoreboard, 8-3 Tigers. Castellanos homered off of Kahnle in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Having a very good year on a bad team. 20 home runs and 75 runs batted in.
Knocking on the door at 300 also. That is a solid year.
A base hit into left center field, cutting over is Hicks, and Castellanos will stop at first with a single.
But if you squint, you can almost see J.D. Martinez with Castellanos, right? Especially in the batter's box. Teammates definitely work together, similar styles.
Pitch to Goodrum is low. Now, we talked about the Yankees on this homestand. Well, through July 4th, the Yankees were 33-13 at home, the best in the majors. If they do not come back and win this game, that would make them 15-11 since. Now, because everyone knows I'm a glass half full guy, 48-24 would be their overall record at home, still be the best, second best in baseball. Boston's the best at 48-18. And there's a walk to Goodrum, moving Castellanos to second. Here's Mikey Matuk. One and 0.
Well, you're looking ahead, Paulie. You know, they got the day game tomorrow out in Oakland, 4:05, which is 1:05 obviously out there West Coast time. You get those 3 in Oakland, 10:05 Tuesday and Wednesday. Don't be up late watching Michael out there. Michael and Kenny, is that right?
Yep.
That's if Michael makes it.
Kenny just texted me. He said it's 65 degrees there.
65?
Yeah, and I did not pack for that.
There's a Nordstrom's out there for it.
Yes, there is.
Pick up a few extras.
I got a yes pullover here. I can give you right here, right behind me.
A giveaway? Was that what that was?
Two and one on Matuk.
So then, you know, after the Wednesday 10:05 game East Coast time, then you're going to head up to Seattle. 2 more night games, 10:10 p.m. on Friday night. We'll be up late Friday night. Well, that's nothing
That's
new.
nothing new for you, Cody. It's like happy hour for you, 10:10.
Now the Saturday night game against the Mariners. And then the Sunday day game. So those 6 games, that's six days from now, we're going to look up and say, okay.
Yeah.
Finish up in Minnesota for 3 on a long road trip.
You hope to come back and you hope that those 6 games remaining with the Boston Red Sox really mean something, and you have to stay close enough for them too. So we'll see. I agree with you, Conan. When you come back from the West Coast, you'll know a lot about where the Yankees stand.
We'll face the Blue Jays for 3 on Friday, September 14th, starting a 3-game set. And then, like you said, the Red Sox come in. Got a Tuesday day game. How about that? Matinee special against the Red Sox on September 18th. You got that game. You're back for that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, September's going to fly by, in other words. And, of course, the last 3 games of the year. Are those going to be important? Mm-hmm. Against the Red Sox at Fenway Park. That was my prediction a long time ago. Those 3 games are going to mean something. Right. The Yankees got some. They're going to have to make up some ground. Yeah.
Three and two. Grounded to third, and Duhar steps on the bag to get the force. Here's what David's talking about. All the games on the trip will be on yes. And then when the Yankees come back on the 14th, first game on Pix 11, then Saturday and Sunday will be on yes.
Never my favorite thing, Coney, the day off on the road. It makes the road trip seem a little bit longer because you really got, you want to rest, but you'd much rather rest at home where you're comfortable doing what you do.
Yeah, an off day in Seattle.
Spend a lot of time in a hotel room on off days. You end up going out together as teammates usually for a nice dinner, but other than that, it's a long day on the road.
Well, that's the difference between a pitcher's life and a position player's life right there. That's why you keep the position players away from the pitchers, especially the starting pitchers. It's the key to any championship team. That's why I never hung out with Jeter. They wouldn't let me hang out with Jeter.
They didn't want to
stay away from Jeter.
Yeah. See, you check him out from afar.
You go with Boomer. You go keep Boomer out of jail. Stay away from Jeter.
Two and 0. Well, the wild card standings right now, the Yankees have the first wild card. There's 6 games in the loss column over Oakland. And Seattle is 4 games in the loss column behind Oakland. And Seattle and Oakland, the final game of a 4-game set is 4:05 today. Seattle's won 2 of the first 3 so far. Felix Hernandez will go for Seattle. Edwin Jackson for the A's. It's a really big game for Seattle where they can cut it to 3 games in the loss column. It's obviously a 2-game swing. James McCann with a fly ball to left. Gardner battling the sun makes the play. 2 outs.
A little panic there for a minute, huh? What's that feel like, Wally? When it's coming, you know it's coming, and you're not sure where it went for a second.
Wow.
He's got the shades on, though.
Yeah, I mean, this time of the year, the angle, you see him fighting, you try to stay to the side of the sun, but you know, the ball just keeps finding its way back in. But as you know, the year gets longer, the angle of the sun makes it much more difficult to pick up the ball in left field.
Well, he keeps faking Goodrum back to second. No one's covering the bag.
Goodrum does run well, but you got to realize you got 2 outs here, man. You know, you get the hitter, you walk to the dugout.
Look at that. First game 21, first game 36. O'Neill and Coney.
Nice.
Look at Coney. Look at the Coney one. Jeez.
That's right.
Tired.
He's had it.
It's nice.
That's what I look like with an off day on a road right there.
Couple toe heads though, isn't it, Cody? A couple blonde hairs. Nice. That's adorable.
The O'Neill one looked, ready for another game.
Let's play 2.
Locked and loaded.
The O'Neill one's hungry. The Cone one's thirsty.
They gotta be about the same age, huh? Same size.
One and 2 to Ronnie Rodriguez. And the 1-2. Slow ground ball, going to be a very tough play. Not in time. Rodriguez beats it out.
I think he's out. I think
Goodrum ran into Andujar.
Well, I think he kept him from getting into the position where he could make a quicker throw.
Well, the runner at first is obviously safe, so that call's correct. Now Ron Gardenhire will go out and talk things over at third. Let's see what we're looking at here.
Yeah, you've got to see, he had to avoid him. You've got to give him the lane to make the play. As a base runner, you know this. Didn't really do anything, but he did cause him to kind of stutter step and take time.
No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. And Gardenhire saying, listen, he got around him, didn't he? So at the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Detroit leading the Yankees 8-3, but we'll stay right where we are as they honor America in the Bronx. Brought to you by your local Nissan dealer, 8-13-0, leading 3-5-0. They told you about Lynn. Boyd's done well over 6. He's out of the game right now. Ray is 3 for 3. Aaron Hicks and Luke Boyd each with solo home runs. We will not hear from Aaron Boone in the postgame. It's going to be Josh Bard who will be handling the postgame. Aaron Boone told us that before the game, since he is the acting manager, as Aaron is serving a one-game suspension. He's in the ballpark, but not in the clubhouse nor near the dugout. Alex Wilson takes over for Matthew Boyd. Swing and a miss, 0-2 on Romine.
Now I wonder if Aaron Boone told him who he has available. Because I remember the last day of the season, we're getting ready for the playoffs. Joe Torre calls him in the office, and he says, "You're going to manage today." I'm like, "All right, that'll be fun." And then all of a sudden he hands me a list of all the people I can't use. I can't use Mariano. I can't use Jeter. I'm like, "Skip, I got no chance." He's like, "Go get him."
Cadillac scoreboard, 8-3. Tigers lead.
Remember, Coney, I didn't put myself in the lineup either.
That's true. So did you win? What's your managerial record?
Nah, it was 0-1. We lost.
White Sox lead the Red Sox 4-0. They put 4 on the board for Hawk. Right back to Wilson. Echevarria is out. 2 away. Here's Brett Gardner. 1-0. One. Wilson deals a 1-1. 1-2. An announced crowd of 43,721 here at Yankee Stadium on this Sunday afternoon.
The Yankees well over 3 million again. It just goes to show you that you know, when you put a team on the field, the people love this team. Earlier in the summer, that you couldn't wait to get to the ballpark here, and you just got to remember now they're still 30-some games over 500. They have had a phenomenal year to this point.
36 over, 86 and 50. And also the other night they went over 3 million in attendance for the 20th straight year, and that's a record in baseball.
Something's going right here, huh?
A couple of the years it was 4 million.
I remember when I first signed with the Yankees, got traded in '95. The next year was a free agent.
That one's driven out to left field. Matuk on the run, and he makes the play. Nice play by Matuk.
Stay tuned, Paulie. Never start a story with 2 outs.
Remember's a long time, Coney. I'm going to wait, though. I'm going to wait you out.
We'll find out more when we return. In Oakland, this Labor Day matinee begins at 3:30. The Chevy Yankees pregame, then settle in for one of the biggest series of the season, right here on Yes and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Dawel Lugo against Sonny Gray. Nice play by Gray. 1 pitch, 1 out. And here are the matchups. CC against Trevor Cahill. Then Tuesday, Jay Happ against a little silhouette of a man. And then Wednesday, Luis Severino against Mike Fiers.
Wonder what that TBD's record is over the course of baseball.
Never loses.
Never loses.
Never loses. Never wins. There's a strike to Reyes.
Paul, you've been down the west side of Manhattan lately. You've seen the Hudson Yards.
I know they've redone most of the west side.
The Hudson Yards area is now being redeveloped over the rail yards. The Highline Park.
Yeah, I've been there.
You know, that was proposed to be a sports stadium at one point back.
Wow.
You know, I mentioned, started that story last inning. George Steinbrenner actually told me, he said, there's a chance, and he was trying to sign me to a free agent contract, that you're going to be playing in a new stadium right over there on the west side of Manhattan.
In Manhattan. Can you imagine the traffic going in and out of the city? Wow.
New York Jets obviously had eyes on that tract of land.
And the Olympics.
And the Olympics as well. I don't know. The Bronx Bombers is just kind of better than the Manhattan Bombers, right? I mean, just.
Yeah, there's something about it.
Obviously, it was never to be. But it is, the development there is incredible.
Yeah, it's cool.
The Hudson Yards, what's going on there?
Some of the buildings are gorgeous, David.
Absolutely spectacular. And then the Highline Park is just a worldwide success. I mean, if you've ever been on the Highline Park and the views you get, it's just beautiful. They did a great job with it.
Well, that's not the High Line. That's probably the 4 line. Serve that one in the left field. What a day for Victor Reyes, huh? 4 for 4.
Wish he's playing a doubleheader, I'm sure. Everything he hits is finding either the seats or grass.
All the young guys for the Tigers came in here and they kind of had their way.
Yankees are looking at a replay of some sort. Not sure what they thought they saw.
His foot come off the bag here.
Yeah, maybe he got the tag right before his foot went down on the bag. Another look. Ooh.
Yeah, they might have gotten him.
Okay.
Now we know what they were looking at. This will tell. Oh, it's going to be tough.
Can't look itself from that angle.
Oh, okay. That tag right there is what they're talking about. If that's what they see down in Chelsea in Manhattan, he's out.
They just show that particular replay on the big board, and they do overturn it.
You know, every once in a while, it's so obvious. All right, we're going to get a replay. All of a sudden, you know, this one even surprised us. Good job by the Yankees picking up on that one.
Brett Weber is the guy who looks at the replays for the Yankees and tells the dugout whether or not they should challenge. And one thing the Yankees kept Sonny Gray from doing was climbing back atop the mound As they were looking, they kept him on the grass. They said, stay right there, after he had thrown the ball to first. 1-1. Three and one. Three and two. And the payoff. Swing and a miss. Candelario down on strikes. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Run to the bottom of the eighth. Yankees still playing catch up. It's 8-3 Tigers. Are 8-3 on the Hyundai scoreboard. 8-14-0, leading 3-5-0. Be the top of the order for the Yankees. McCutchen, Hicks, and Andujar. New pitcher is Coleman, Lewis Coleman. So Alex Wilson pitched the 1-2-3 7th inning. And you see what Coleman's done. Should send out birthday wishes today, Paul. Ronald Torreyes is 26 years old.
It seems like a long time ago, doesn't it, Michael?
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I guess you got a point.
And also, one of the good guys in baseball, I can't imagine what his birthday party's like. Rex Hudler turns 58 today.
Sexy Rexy.
Yep.
He's a former #1 pick by the Yankees, right?
I believe he was the Yankees' first #1 pick, I think. That's what he says.
Makes for a good story, right?
But he does have a great story that he was in the minor leagues for a long time. and he decided to sit down and write George Steinbrenner a letter. I believe I should be promoted. I've done a good job, and George Steinbrenner wrote him back, and he was up in the big leagues. I think George ended up, trading him, but he wrote him a great letter that Rex says he has framed in his house. It's one of his most cherished possessions. Two and two. Now you might have noticed in this lineup today, no Giancarlo Stanton. First time he has not played in a game for the Yankees since May 28th against Houston. 85 straight games. And during that time hit 291, his slash line 291, 364, 545, 22 homers and 56 ribbies. And Aaron Boone said it was tough to get him today off against a lefty because he owns lefties. He said, but with the West Coast fight and then a day game tomorrow, I thought this would be the day, and I ran it by him, and so he's not playing today. And he gets plunked again. He got hit yesterday on the elbow pad. This time up like the hip as McCutchen reaches. Thigh, not hip. Also, we brought up David's 7-inning no-hitter coming back off the DL in '96. This day's a big day for David because in 2001, when he was pitching for the Red Sox, he engaged in an unbelievable pitcher's duel with Mike Messina. Lost the game 1-0, but that's like the sidebar. The main story is that Messina took a perfect game into 2 outs into the 9th inning. 1 strike away, fastball high to Carl Crawford, who lined a clean single to left center. Carl Everett, I'm sorry, and lined a clean single to left center field to end the perfect game, and he lost that game 1-0.
Yes, Mike Mussina, 0-2 count, 2 outs.
I still remember it well. I remember getting on the plane and I was sitting next to him, in the seat in between us, and I didn't know, should I talk to him? Should I not talk to him? But before the flight, it was over. He went over a few things, but he did want to talk. So close to that perfection. Put yourself in that, Coney, and you give up a hit with 2 outs in the 9th with 2 strikes. Wow.
Well, the score was 0-0 after 8, and I talked to Joe Kerrigan, who was then the manager, and he talked my way into going back out for the 9th inning. And theoretically, I could have blocked Mussina because if it was 0-0 after 9, he could throw a perfect game. It wouldn't have counted. Right. I was the last guy to throw a perfect game. He was going to be the next guy to throw a perfect game.
Wasn't going to happen, right?
I could have blocked him. But I did my part. I gave up a run.
I forget how he scored. How did he score? You remember?
Yeah, Enrique Wilson hit one down the line, a little double down the line. We made an error in that inning to get the leadoff guy on.
Well, you only would have blocked him if he didn't throw a perfect inning in the 10th, and if they
would have had to go back out for the 10th.
He would have had going out.
And Pedro Martinez had one of those games. Had a perfect game through 9 and had to go. It was 0-0. Had to go back out for the 10th. I think he actually ended up losing it, I believe.
How about this? The Yankees rallying 1st and 2nd, nobody out here in the 8th. And here is the Mussina near perfect game. He was dealing that night. And here's the hit. That's got to sting to be that close. And here's the pitching coach, Rick Anderson, coming out and talking with Coleman.
The middle of the Yankee order coming up and the bullpen going for the Tigers. The Yankees making a little noise here in the 8th. We got the right part of the order. Yankees could make things interesting. Maybe some of those guys that had the day off might be back in the cage swinging a bat. Just in case.
Pitch to Andujar. There's a strike from Coleman.
That's a tough call there. Coleman's ball really runs in on righties, and when it's inside, it continues to go inside. Not much of a chance for a hitter to handle it.
Grounded and through for a base hit for Andujar. McCutchen rounds third. Here he comes. He'll score. It's an RBI single for Andujar, and it's 8-4 Tigers.
After a tough call, Andujar gets out over the plate and hooks this ball over in the hole. So like you get to that magic number, Coney, where a grand slam will tie it.
Yes.
Gardenhire trying to figure out what to do.
Very interesting. Miguel and Andujar going out of the strike zone on a breaking ball and hook it in the hole. And we've seen him do that so many times this year.
Well, he came into this game 4 for his last 22, but he's 2 for 3 today with an RBI and a run scored. And here's Gary Sanchez. 1-0. Can the Yankees rally on this Sunday afternoon? The second half of these games this whole week pretty much has belonged to the Yankees, except for that one rough 9th inning. There's a strike, 1-1.
You mentioned that about Andujar, Paulie. Highest batting average on breaking pitches this year. He's 5th at 317 batting average. Jose Altuve is first on that list at 386. But we've seen him go out of the strike zone even like he did there on breaking balls. So long through the zone as you described his swing.
Chopped to third. It's a fair ball. They step on the bag, fire to first, and Sanchez beats it out to avoid the double play. So Hicks is out at third. And here's a return throw to first, and he did beat it out. So first and second now with one man out, and that brings up Gleyber Torres.
The Yankees actually caught a little break there. It looked like a sure double play off the bat. Took a little time to get rid of it over third. So Gary Sanchez, after that groin pull, you know, he's moving pretty well. And that's a good sign for the Yankees.
Gleyber Torres 0 for 3 today. First and second, one man out. Coleman deals. Low, 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch. 2-0.
Could get interesting, Paul. You know, got Torres here, 2-0 count. Obviously, Luke Voigt's going to hit next. And then you got Romine and Echeverria. So would that be a spot for a pinch hitter?
You probably would think that Stanton is getting loose at this point just for that one shot.
Three 3-0. So if Torres could get on, that brings up Luke Voigt as a tying run. There's a strike, 3-1. Ball 4, bases loaded with the Yankees. Well, Ron Gardenhire has seen enough. He'll take the ball from Coleman. And he will go to the bullpen with Luke Voit due up. So the Yankees have battled back to within 4. Voit will go to the batter's box as a tying run in the bottom of the 8th. Come on back. He went opposite field. And he's got that little Sammy Sosa hop. His 5th home run with the Yankees, a solo blast. But there's traffic on the bases right now. Bases loaded for Voit. And Victor Alcantara will take over. This will be his 20th game. Now on deck after Voit is Romine. Now the DH is Sanchez, but you have Higashioka because of the expanded rosters. Would they let Romine hit, or would they go to the bench? This obviously is barring Voit hitting into a double play.
Yeah, not only do you have Stanton available, you have Greg Bird available. Stanton doesn't look like he's getting ready to hit at all.
And it certainly shows you the shifting of the tides, that it was never even considered to send up Greg Bird to pinch hit for Voit against the righty Alcantara.
Although Bird does look ready. He's got his batting gloves on, so he's been warming up. Maybe he would pinch hit for Romine or the next batter.
0-2 quickly, Voit down.
You know, it's funny, if you think about, if you send Bird up there, okay, and they bring Stumpf out of the bullpen, then do you go to Stanton and have him hit off a lefty? So you got a few things that can go on here.
Exactly.
Also, you got Ty Walker or Neil Walker, who could hit, you know, switch hitter, obviously.
He's ready.
The 0-2. Buzzed him upstairs.
I'll tell you what, I think this is the one that looks a little bit closer than it, and I tell you what, that's a dangerous pitch right there.
Well, plus it's a two-seamer, so it's got movement. It's chasing his chin. That is the proverbial chin music right there. Good thing he got it out of the way.
Back to the screen. Bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees down by 4, bases loaded, Voit at the plate, the 1-2. He goes down on strikes. 2 away. And they will call Romine back, and they'll send up Neil Walker. Let's take a look at how they got Voit.
It's ahead right off the bat, and I tell you what, this pitch right here kind of sets up anything off speed. He got another fastball to hack at, but then he went to the off-speed pitch to put him away.
Now with Walker coming up, obviously Gardenhire could go to a left-hander and turn Walker around to his weaker side, but they will stay with the righty and let Walker bat left-handed. Oh, 1.
Alcantara has good movement. And you can see that running fastball. We saw it with Voit running in on him. For Walker, get a good pitch to hit. Make him get it up. He has given up 4 home runs in 22 1/3 innings.
We talked about that little delay in his delivery. Thing kind of goes quick, and then right there he kind of delays, and it kind of messes you up timing-wise as a hitter.
The 0-2. Fouled the other way.
Remember Neil Walker's other pinch hit in this homestand. First pitch, home run. He comes off the bench. He'll give you a good at bat.
And the 0-2. 1-2. Echevarria is on deck.
It's one of those decoys on deck. You don't want to show your hand at this point on who's going to pinch hit.
The 1-2. Off of Alcantara. Everybody's going to be safe. And Duhar scores. And it's 8-5 Tigers.
A pretty good at bat from Neil Walker. Gets down 0-2, fights back. and finds good wood on this one. This is smoked right back up the middle, off the heel of the glove.
Tell you what, this is not an easy part. We went the other day on how hard it is to come off the bench and be a good pinch hitter. Neil Walker is becoming that.
Now they have Greg Bird out on deck. I don't know why they would announce him just yet. So it got him off the wrist because Echeverria against lefty pitching is a 347 hitter. Against righties, he's 218. So I'm not sure if Bird has been announced yet. He goes back down the steps, and they are going to keep Alcantara out on the mound. So that means that Bird will pinch hit. Because they would have kept Echeverria in there against a lefty reliever.
Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
You talk about opportunities that will change a lot of people's minds. You come up with a big hit here, all of a sudden people start to get on your side, and it's almost like people recently have been rooting against Bird because he has not produced to this point. So I don't know if Gardenhire would go to Stump with the thought that possibly that they'd put Stanton up against him, huh?
I agree with you. You're a pretty good manager.
You
ever think about that stuff?
Yeah, sure.
No?
Yeah.
He'd have to do road games. So here's Bird. He's now up there as the go-ahead run. Bases loaded. 2 outs. And a strike.
Well, if you believe in the regression gods, or he's due.
Michael Blees is due.
I know my mom did. Joan Cohn would say that this guy is due.
The 0-1. Driven to right field and deep. Going back, Reyes on the track. Wow. He makes the play at the wall. That close. That close. As Alcantara breathes a sigh of relief. Low and in, a happy zone for lefty batter. And he drove the right fielder back to the wall for the final out. We go to the ninth.
If you're Greg Bird, you just got to figure you are jinxed. I mean, to come off the bench and hammer one, just a little top spin, just nothing will go right for this guy right now.
Well, the Yankees Scored 2 in that inning, but still 3 down as we go to the 9th. And major league debut for Stephen Tarpley. Gleyber Torres moves from second to short. Neil Walker takes over at second. And the new catcher is Kyle Higashioka. And as we mentioned, the new pitcher is Stephen Tarpley. Major league debut. This is what he's done at AA and AAA this year. 36 games, 71 strikeouts in 69 and 2/3 innings, 1.94 ERA. He's 25 years old.
Not the kind of lefty you would have liked to face.
Yeah, a little sidewinder there.
Slinging, two-seam, running in on you. He's got excellent movement on his fastball.
I don't like your scouting report as you're talking. That two-seamer against lefties, that was always an issue.
This is Tarpley's 6th pro season. He was a 3rd-round pick by the Orioles in 2013, then moved to the Pirates, and then in August of 2016, the Yankees traded Ivan Nova to Pittsburgh for Tarpley and Tito Polo. That one's lined to right field. On the run is McCutchen. Then he makes the play.
Well, McCutchen can still move out there. You've seen him make some really good plays out in right field. And again, this is a new place for him. You know, he has not got it together. He's had some great swings. Would not be surprised to watch him have a big West Coast trip. He's had some good swings today and made some good plays.
The thing the Yankees like about Tarpley, 68% ground ball rate last year and this year. So here's Castellanos. Tarpley deals. So, David, you've described this before. He's not feeling his legs right now, major league debut.
Well, you know, everybody's different, but yeah, this is a day he's never going to forget. You know, he's paid his dues. You're talking about a kid who signed back in 2013. He's got 419 career innings and 115 games appeared in the minor leagues over those years. Really earned his way here.
Grounded and past to diving Andujar, and down the left field line. That's going to go to the wall. Playing it out there is Gardner, and Castellanos picks up his 3rd hit of the afternoon.
Right down the line, just out of the reach. There's nothing you can't anything other than, try to knock this down, and it just beat him down the line.
Pitch outside. Let's not forget the job that Sonny Gray did. Gave up 1 run in 4 innings of work. Ground ball to Gleyber Torres to get Goodrum. And Lindsey Adler of The Athletic has worked it out. In 5 outings in relief, he has a 2.75 ERA. Now, if you include the start against Baltimore last week, he has a 1.88 ERA since the demotion. 1.88 since the demotion. 4 earned runs allowed in total. And for the first time since June 23rd, his ERA is below 5. There's Mikey Matuk, who was 0 for 4. Higashioka blocks. I guess there's two ways you could react, David, when you're demoted like that, and he reacted the right way. You could mope around and just be bad every time you come in, but he's been better.
He really has, and it's ironic. It was a similar type start by him, and it was Lance Lynn in his first game as a Yankee who relieved Sonny Gray and did a great job, and they flipped them. You wonder if that's possible, but that could happen again, and a flip-flop right back. Certainly something to think about as this spot in the rotation comes back around the next time. Also, as you mentioned earlier, Michael, Jonathan Loaizaga is here as well. So would they consider making a change?
3-0 to Mato. Castellanos at second, 2 men out. We're in the 9th inning, 8-5. Tigers over the Yanks. Matuk walks. So here's James McCann. And a strike from Tarpley.
Tarpley does look like a good matchup guy, Coney. You're right with kind of his delivery. The good curveball, good two-seam fastball he'd be able to use against lefties. Got a little 95 too.
One pitch away from a scoreless debut.
And the pitch outside.
I think he realized that right on that pitch, Coney. A little extra there, try to let it go.
It's hard to explain the adrenaline rush you get in your major league debut. It was about now I could feel my hair growing. Intense.
Misses outside, 2-2. Tigers with 15 hits, Yankees with 7. Tigers lead 8-5, 2-2. 3-2, so the runners will go.
Tarpley, born in 1993 in LA.
Missed outside. Bases loaded. A double and 2 walks. And here comes Larry Rothschild. Higashioka trying to calm him down, and here comes the pitching coach, who will try to do the same.
Does that make you feel old, Paulie? This guy's born in 93?
Yeah, it certainly does.
He's not really even that young. He's 25. There's some, boy, I saw some guys born What, Acuna Jr.? Kid born in '99.
Yeah, what's up with that, huh? Really?
Juan Soto, Washington Nationals. Stephen Nicholas Tarpley. February 17th, 1993, Los Angeles, California. Since he's moved to the bullpen, he has taken off, and that's why he's here.
And since joining the Yankees, 1.87 ERA in 55 games.
Now you get the bases loaded in your major league debut. 2 outs.
And any chance of a comeback realistically rests on getting this batter. Pitches outside 1-0 to Rodriguez, who was 2 for 4 today. Lined into center field, it is a base hit. 1 run scores. And the ball hits off the mound, allowing a 2nd run to score. It's a 2-run single for Rodriguez, and it's 10-5 Tigers.
Boy, everything's running smooth, Coney, and then all of a sudden, boom, trouble. 2-run single.
So close. 1 pitch from getting out of it, and now you've got an ERA.
Yeah, good job for Hicks, but you see the ricochet off the mound. If you don't carry that mound, watch it just kind of bounces straight up and it loses all its velocity.
Here's Lugo. No bite on the breaking ball, 1-0.
Now you look how this inning kind of blew up, and he was 0-2 with McCann, and then he ended up walking him on 4 straight balls. That's just trying to be a little bit too perfect.
Rounded up the middle, and that gets through for a base hit. McCann will round 3rd. He'll score. It's an RBI single for Lugo. He's 3 for 5. And Detroit now leads 11-5.
You think in a 3-run game, right? I think the Yankees really wanted to see what Tarpley had. You never know how it translates from AAA to the big leagues, and of course it's his debut and all the nerves associated with that. But I think there's a reason why he was in here for this game when he was 3-run lead.
Yeah.
Which is now a 6-run lead. I think they really are curious about Tarpley. They really wanted to see him in a spot like this. Obviously didn't go as planned.
You know what I've noticed a lot, and went back to that McCann at bat, a lot of the young player, and Loaizaga was the same when he came up, is they're very good at getting strikes, and then they expect these hitters to just swing at everything. And you allow them to get back in the count. You know, you have to continue to stay in that strike zone, especially with 2 strikes.
Reyes down on strikes. They finally retire him. So Tarpley gives up 3 runs in his major league debut. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. We'll bring you highlights and analysis from today's game, plus a look ahead to the big 3-game series in Oakland against the A's that starts tomorrow at 4:05 right here on Yes. Shane Green will come on and try to get the final 3 outs and assure the Tigers of a split of this 4-game set. And it'll be Gardner, McCutchen, and Hicks against Green. Yankees lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox to start off this homestand. They took 2 of the first 3 against the Tigers. And now this game will end the homestand. If they lose this one, 3-4 on a homestand against 2 of the worst teams in baseball. And then on to Oakland against one of the better teams in baseball. And the pitch to Gardner is a strike.
Green did a good job yesterday, or the other time he came in this series. You can see his good fastball moves away. Use him as a closer, and his numbers have been pretty good this year.
Oh, 0-2.
Well, there's one thing about Shane Green is he will forever be linked to Didi Gregorius because that's how it happened. Part of a 3-team trade. You have to go back to 2014. Shane Green broke in as a starter with the Yankees and had a really good year. And Brian Cashman sold high on Shane Green.
Strike 3. Gardner down looking. He's not in love with that call. And he tells Scott Barry as much.
He's always had excellent movement. And that is late and darting 2-seam action. A third look right here. Just off. But the illusion of moving back, sometimes you will get that call. It's an easy pitch to frame for a catcher because it's running back to the corner.
You'd like to see McCutchen get that first hit out of his way, so we had traveled to the West Coast not worrying about that. But he has hit a few balls hard today, missed a couple home runs earlier.
Been hit by pitches twice, but still looking for that first hit. And the pitch. There's a strike, 3-1. McCutchen has scored a run in this game. He scored when he was hit by a pitch last inning. Three and two. So if the Yankees lose this game, they're going to go into that 3-game set with Oakland, either 5 or 6 games up in the loss column over the A's. And right now, bottom of the second inning, the Mariners lead Oakland 1-0. Nelson Cruz, an RBI single. Grounded to second base, bobbled by Lugo. He regains, fires, and gets McCutchen for the second out.
Good recovery. At that point, I thought McCutchen would beat this, but Good strong throw.
So here is Aaron Hicks. Hicks 1 for 3 with a walk and a home run in the first inning, batting right-handed into the second deck, or off the facing of the second deck in right field. Two and 0.
Have to go back to the top of the fourth inning. The Tigers put on 5 runs on the board. Kind of took control of this game. Knocked Lance Lynn out. Castellanos greeted Tommy Canely with a homer. That's, you know, those are the kind of innings in the middle of the game that can really hurt you. If you can't stop the bleeding, those big crooked numbers, a 5 spot just stands out on the scoreboard.
So a walk to Hicks. And that brings up Andujar. He is 2 for 3 today with a walk.
Had so many games like that, Michael. Boy, I was 1 pitch out away from being out of it. We talked about it with Tarpley last inning. 1 pitch from being out of that inning. Next thing you know, 3 runs on the board. And for a pitcher, that's when you lay your head on your pillow at night. That's what you think about. And Duhar, 2 for 3 today. Another double.
There's no slowdown. He keeps raking. Outside by Green. Grounded foul. So Aaron Boone will return back to the dugout tomorrow against the A's. Served a 1-game suspension today for having the bill of his cap. That's the bill of the cap of Nick Lentz when he argued the other day. Josh Bard is managing in his stead. Runner goes. Soft ground ball at third. That's going to be a hit. So another hit for Andujar as he is 3 for 4 and Hicks moves to second, yet you still have a pulse. He's a hit machine.
Oh, that is a beautiful thing for a hitter. Exit velocity be damned.
So here is Gary Sanchez, who is 1 for 3. Let me check that, 1 for 4. And an RBI single in the first inning. The DH today, 2nd straight game. Yesterday he caught. And a strike.
Little infield hit puts Andujar over 300 again. 301 batting average.
Trying to hold off Torres. And the third candidate for Rookie of the Year gets a start tonight. Shohei Ohtani. He's been on the shelf pitching-wise.
Be good to see Ohtani back on the mound. He's such a gifted talent. I didn't see the offense coming with him in spring training. Really struggled offensively. You knew he had the stuff on the mound. I mean, he had upper 90s fastballs and good split finger to go with it. So you kind of anticipated that maybe, you know, his pitching would surpass his hitting. It's kind of been the other way around. A lot of close races. National League Cy Young Award, American League Rookie of the Year Award. Some of these things are going to go down to the wire.
And the 0-2. Popped up, out of play. First and second, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. 11-17-0 Detroit, 5-8-0 for the Yankees. And the pitch. Upstairs, 1-2. Just missed. That close to ending the game, 2-2.
Pretty close pitch to take with 2 strikes and the game on the line, at least the end of the game. Just off from the overhead.
And the 2-2. Did he go? No, he did not. 3-2.
Yankees get a couple guys on. Maybe we will see Stanton pinch hit here.
Could be.
I'll say this, you know, on the early reports, Sanchez has looked good. He got 1 hit today, just missed a homer yesterday. He's run well. Looks like he's in tremendous shape coming back from his 2nd DL stint. He's put the barrel of the bat on the ball several times in the last 2 days. He looks good. And that should potentially bode well for the Yankees moving forward.
Runners will go. 3-2, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. Ball 4 and the bases are loaded.
Number 25.
Here's Gleyber Torres. He's been held hitless today. 0 for 3 with a walk, but he's 10 for his last 20, and he has a 6-game hitting streak riding on this at bat. Just in case, there's somebody up in the bullpen. And there's a base hit to right center field. 2 runs will score. Sanchez moves to third. It's a 2-run single for Gleyber Torres. He has a 7-game hitting streak, and the Yankees are now down by 4.
Well, Gleyber came into that at bat 0 for 3 with a walk. Boy, 1 for 4 with a couple ribbies. Nice way to potentially end your day right there. Fought that pitch off.
Now you play the what-if game, but when you play the what-if game, you fall into the the trap of the fallacy of the predetermined outcome, but if the Yankees hold it at 3 in the top of the 9th inning, boy, this has a different look to it, but who knows if everything will unfold the same way.
Very true. Nonetheless, Green is the Tigers' closer. He was in here and he will remain in here. And with 2 outs, Luke Voit gets another shot.
And you saw Verhagen is up right now in case things continue to spiral for Green. So Voit is 2 for 4, a single, a home run, and 2 strikeouts.
Neil Walker on deck representing the tying run now.
Missed outside. So this has all happened with 2 outs. A walk, infield single, a walk, a 2-run bloop single. 1-0. About right back, 1-1.
Really good swing right there. Once again, Luke Voit does not get cheated. I mean, here it is, hit it. And a mighty lash.
And the Yankees are down to their final strike. And the 1-2. 2-2.
Well, we heard that, from Alex Rodriguez when he first saw Luke Voit, that he saw a little Dante Bichette in him in terms of style, the look of the swing. Yeah, I could agree with that.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch. Strike 3, end of the ball game. As the Yankees lose this one 11-7. Voit strikes out for the 3rd time today. And the Yankees end a disappointing homestand. 3-4, losing 2 out of 3 to the White Sox, splitting 4 with the Tigers. And now on to a very difficult 3-city, 9-game road trip that starts tomorrow in Oakland. We'll be back.